Hello, you are welcome to my channel. My name is Terry. If you're new here, thank you so much for joining me. And if you're an existing subscriber, thank you so much for coming back. Today, I'm going to be talking to you about how to stand out as a poet. There's several ways to stand out, but I'm talking about when you're trying to perform or when you're in a competition and you're in a slam and you're trying to stand out. So first off, what you need to work on is your write-up. One of the things poets do is they don't think so much as they ought to, but there are like 3 steps to do it. So the first time when you're about to write your piece, whatever you think about first is what every normal person will think about. So you need to go a little bit deeper. And I'm going to title this first point as go deep. So when you thought about the first thing, that's not the first thing you should write. You should think about it, but don't dwell on it and don't work on it. Especially when it comes to the topic and when it comes to the topic exactly. So the second thing is what you should think about. But still, if you find out that it's not so good, still cancel it out and go deeper till like the fifth, sixth, seventh thing. Because when it comes to the fifth, sixth, seventh thing, that is what nobody is actually thinking about. But that's when you want to write it. And now there's several ways I actually write. I will do a different video talking about how to write a poem. But all I'm saying, all in all, is don't dwell on the first thing that you think about. Still try to go deeper when it comes to the topic and when it comes to when you're done writing the whole piece, but you've not started infusing your punchlines or your unfair advantage into that piece. Whatever that particular point is where you know that this is where you want to get your audience, the first thing you think about is not what you should write. Go to the fifth, sixth thing. That means it just has to be, do it, you thinking deeply. Something comes to your mind first, you cancel it out. The second thing comes to your mind, cancel it out. The third, the fourth, until you think really deep. In fact, that kind of deep thought, someone has to wake you up from it and say, hey, stop thinking. Then you'd have thought about something really great and unique. My second point is use imagery. I love imagery a whole lot. And if you read books, you find out that what they use the most is imagery. Imagery makes your audience feel like they are in the piece with you. It brings the poem home. It brings it to your audience. They understand it better, they feel it better. And one thing you should know is people will always forget your words or might always forget your words, but they will never forget how you made them feel. So you want to kind of like move them from hearing just your words to making them feeling your words, to making them say, you know what, I understand what this person is saying, and I think the person is making sense. Because the truth is, people need to feel those words. If they can feel what you're saying, if they can feel maybe your poem is something really aggressive, and if it makes them aggressive, then they can feel what you're saying. If it makes them and the truth is, when you're on stage, you can literally see their faces, because you can see if you're boring. If you're boring, they'll be sleeping, or they'll be distracted, they'll be getting up, doing this, doing that. If you're making sense, they'll be nodding their heads, their eyes will be fixed on what you're saying. You can literally see it. So one thing you should try to do is, when you're performing, don't just perform for yourself. Your audience are like your mirror. Try to see what you're saying. And at the time, you see at some points when you talk, they'll be like, or they'll be clapping and saying, wow, you're doing so great. Then you know you're actually doing so great. So you need to watch your audience, right? And imagery is 100% it. So when it comes to imagery, now how do you use imagery? When it comes to imagery, is when you're describing a particular thing in your piece, it might be a story, maybe you at some point you're trying to explain the kind of pain the girl felt. What you want to do there is use certain words, use certain keywords that will make them feel the same pain that the girl felt at that point. And try to also, if you're describing a scene, if you're describing a particular duplex or house, you want to sort of describe the house in a way that they can see it in their minds. Don't just say, and they just saw a duplex. No, explain every single thing in the duplex. They saw a duplex. In front of it was a plant. The plant was green, and it was made middle-aged, and the duplex was as long as what? Was he as long as the sky? You want to sort of describe every single thing and describe the colors. The colors were white. White as what? Now, when you're using white as what, is not, you're now including simile to the OPs, you know. And if you now say, okay, it was white or snow, at the same time, it was a dazzling white. The white was blinding. Now you're using personification. So you want to kind of include every single thing. All these things are still imagery. So imagery is broad, really. It's really, really broad. So now I'm trying to just describe this imagery. So if you're going to use that in your piece, think about it could just be a line in your piece that is not well described. But that's particular sentence, break it down into segments. Okay, how do I want to sort of describe every single thing I'm trying to say here in a way that the next person can feel it? And if it's anger, you want to express that anger, you want to break it and explain where the anger came from. The anger rose, like, how does a heart feel? Was a heart pumping? Was a heart trying to come out of a chest? Using those kind of words will make them feel it. Make them feel it. So your audience will never forget how you made them feel, trust me. So try to make them feel something, and how to make them feel is one of the ways is using imagery. My third point is use strange expressions. This will make you stand out. And for imagery, to be honest, it will make you stand out. Absolutely, like take my word for it, it will make you stand out. So my third point is use strange expressions. Now, what do I mean by strange expressions? Sometimes when you're rehearsing your lines, sometimes some words can just come and you just feel like, okay, you know what, I think I'm going to infuse this. Strange expression has to do with something that was not even included in the poem, or maybe you're trying to say, and you breathe. You know, that really, it's unique. Trust me, it's not something everybody does. So when you do it in your piece, it makes the audience like go crazy, like why did she even do that? It makes them even think, why did you do that in the first place? So that's one of the reasons why you should do it. And if you're going to say something like, oh, and he wept, you know, those strange expressions, something you would not normally do, because if I'm going to say, oh, and he wept, it's boring. But if you say, and he wept, or you can say, wait a minute. Then you start again. Those strange expressions, they just really do something to your piece. Trust me. So try to put it. It might not even be any of the things I said, or it might be sounds like boom, like kaboom, like kabosh, or something just out of this world, something that is not in a dictionary. Just strange expressions. I hope you get what I mean. If you do not understand it, just drop a comment in the comment section and I'll do something about it. I'll probably explain it in my next video. But strange expressions, you can start it in the beginning. You can you know, something just unique, bring something to the table. You can even start with a song, or you can turn that first line you have in a song, or maybe you're starting with in the beginning it was, you can say in the beginning it was, you know, something strange, because it makes, when you say something strange, it makes them pause for a minute and be like, okay, what is she doing? You know, and that particular pause makes you get your attention. It makes them say, okay, what's she trying to say? And when it comes to slams, strange expressions really work. It works like magic. Next is make your story first person. This is something me and my friend agreed, and it's something that it always works, especially when your poem is for a large audience. You know, make your story first person. If you're going to write, if your story is someone else's story, make the story your story. There is no testimony like the person who has a testimony. If the person who has a testimony is sharing the testimony, it's just stronger, it's just deeper, because the word I am is so strong. I am. People love to listen to I am than the girl was, or it just carries a lot of weight when you say I am. First person works perfectly well. If you want to stand out, use first person. First person is it. If your poem is about your shoe, you could still start with I am and then end with the story was about my shoe. When you say I am, is it's like you're proclaiming something. Is you like, and when you're talking about a particular poem that is so tragic, that something really tragic happens in the piece, during the course of taking that poem, and you say like I am, I was, and I felt so broken or something. When you use that I am, it's like they could relate with your audience. Really, at that point, it's like they could relate with what you're saying. They will feel like, wow, so this person was really in so much pain, or this person felt this way. I felt so much anger in my spirit. I rose, like they could feel it every time you use I am. But when you say something like, and she felt so much anger in her spirit, and she didn't know what to do, and she didn't da 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 da. The she is just so boring and lame. I have so many pieces where I use I am, and at the end of the day, I'll just say, this is not my story. But the truth is, they've already felt every single thing I wanted them to feel. So it just kind of works. It works so, so well. Another free tip I want to give you regarding standing out as a poet is, I didn't even plan for this, but let me just say it, right? Is try to use chorus. Try to use choruses. I discovered that using a chorus will make your audience understand your piece better, and it will make them relate with your piece. It will make them follow you, because repetition is what makes things stick in your head. So if you keep repeating a certain sentence, a certain chorus, at the end of the day, you find out that they can sing that chorus along with you. I mean, if you listen to several songs, you might not know all the verses, you might not know all the solos, but you would definitely at least know what the chorus was like, or what the chorus sounded like. In fact, it's the chorus you actually know first before you start, okay, let me go to Google and start checking the verses. So try as much as possible to use chorus. And when I talk about chorus, you would write the verses, right? The verses are things you say, and then your chorus can just be a single line. The angel passed and I wept. Then you start the verse, da, 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 da. The angel passed and I wept. Da, 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 da. The angel passed and I wept. Da, 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 da. The angel passed and I wept. And at the end of the day, by the time you got to like the last verse, by the time you say the angel passed, your audience will be able to say, and I wept, because they're already used to hearing that particular chorus. Trust me, this trick works every single time. I didn't even plan to say this, but it's so important that you actually do it. So if you're thinking of a slam, if you're going for maybe a competition, you're going for a performance, now for that chorus, I don't know if it works as a page poet. I'm not a page poet, I'm more of a performance poet. I love performing even more than writing. So yeah, so most of my tips really for performance. If you're a slam poet, using choruses for your pieces would work like magic. It's something people will never forget. If you're even saying the verses, they might forget even what the verse was about. They might forget, but that message, trust me, will definitely be delivered to your audience. Because in fact, by the time you even type it, you would discover that even that chorus, if the chorus is really short, if it's just a sentence, that some chorus can be like 5 lines. The angel passed and I wept. I stood and I cried. I stood and I wept. I stood and I cried. That can be your chorus. And at the end of, you keep repeating. By the time you do like one stanza, then you say the chorus, another stanza, then the chorus, another stanza, then the chorus. By the time you say the last chorus, people will be able to relate with what you're saying. People will be able to follow you. So it's something you really need to do. Try to infuse it. If you're going for a slam, use it. And sometimes, if you're going for a slam, they might give you a particular topic and say, let everybody write about this topic. And by the time everybody's writing about this topic, using a chorus will be your unfair advantage. Like, it will stand you out like so well. You can even like it will stand you out. If your chorus is stand up, if the chorus is keep dreaming Nigeria, by the time you say the first verse, keep dreaming Nigeria, you say it again, you say the second verse, keep dreaming Nigeria, the third verse, keep dreaming Nigeria. By the time you end your piece, you find out that people are actually saying keep dreaming Nigeria, and by the time you're done, people just be like keep dreaming Nigeria. Keep dreaming Nigeria will just stick to their heads, and they'll be like keep dreaming Nigeria, keep dreaming Nigeria, keep dreaming Nigeria. So trust me, it works. I hope these 4 tips with my extra tip will work for you. Please do leave a comment in the comment section, and if you have any question at all, just send me a message on my Instagram page, oracle_Terry. And now, if you want to learn poetry from me, full-time poetry, send me a DM, talk to me about it. I'm ready to teach you at a very, very affordable price. I love you so much, and bye for now.